Hey, long-sleeved, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And today I'm going to do a movie review on a movie I saw last night, Sound of Metal. Yeah, Sound of Metal is actually a movie released in 2019, but I'm gonna consider it a release in 2020 because I totally have not heard of it until 2020, and it is a movie directed and written by Darius Martyr. I'm not familiar with Darius Martyr's work. I know that I think, written and wrote and directed The Place Beyond the Pines featuring Ryan Gosling. But that's all, really. So, going into Sound of Metal, I totally did not know what to expect. It is a story about a metal drummer, a metal band drummer, played by Riz Ahmed. His name is Ruben Stone, and he lost his hearing because he's been exposed to so much loud noise. The audience screaming, the vocalist, who is actually his girlfriend, played by Olivia Cook. Her name is Lou, and also his own drumming. Now he lost his hearing. He can't hear. He's deaf. And this movie sort of shows how he's trying to accept that. And at first, he's like, oh my god, I can't go deaf. Music is my life. Drumming is my life. If I'm deaf, I'm screwed. So he wanted to do surgery. He wanted to get a transplant. He went to a doctor, but it was too costly. He can't pay for that much money. So he wanted to do more tours, but then he can't because that would ruin his hearing even further. So instead, his girlfriend Lou brought him to this deaf community in the middle of nowhere, where it's a community. They all live together. They don't use mobile phones. They don't use computers. They don't use anything. They're all deaf. They all use sign language. And they just live there happily. And originally, Ruben was really against this idea, but he had no choice. He doesn't have the money to do surgery. He has nowhere to go. This is the only place to go. So he went there, and that's pretty much the story. And yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but this is probably my favorite 2020 movie that I watched so far, until I've seen another round, of course. But this movie is really good. Maybe it's because I haven't seen that many great movies that is released in 2020, other than maybe Tenet or I'm Thinking of Ending Things. That's the only two great movies that I know that are released in 2020. Other than those two, I can't find any great movies from 2020. So maybe my expectations were low. But honestly, I really enjoy this movie. First of all, Riz Ahmed's performance is fantastic. Probably his career best. Of course, every time I film myself, somebody has to throw a party outside of my bedroom. Alright. Riz Ahmed's performance, absolutely amazing. Absolutely stellar. Very Oscar worthy. One of the strongest aspects of the movie is his performance. Second of all, it's surprisingly well paced. Honestly, when I went into this movie, I thought, there's a great chance that this movie is going to be a slow burn because the topic of the matter is so plain. Maybe it's going to be a slow burn. But no, it's not. It is actually really well paced, well edited as well, and the story is great. There's no BS there. With a story idea this simple, there are 1,000 ways for the story to go wrong. Oh, what if he has an affair with another person? Oh, what if he has beef with this other guy in the deaf community? Or what if he suddenly has suicidal thoughts at the end? No, no, none of that cliche, trite bullshit. This movie is set up to be a very straightforward and very simple but beautiful and nuanced story about trying to accept that you're deaf, basically. and there's no BS detected from the script, honestly. And yeah, the story even managed to make the main character Ruben likable immediately in the second scene, with him cooking breakfast for his girlfriend, dancing with her, being nice, being kind, and then we see him transition from that to a very angry and very hateful person because he realized that he's gone deaf. And seeing him try to go out of that hateful, bitter attitude is really the point of the movie, and it is portrayed fantastically. I guess the last thing I want to say about this movie is that this movie has no antagonist. Lately, I've been going online looking for, discussions on, writing stories and whatnot. And one of the topics that I've seen is it okay if my story doesn't have a villain? And one of the people replied saying, it's okay if your story doesn't have a villain, but preferably it should have an antagonist. But in Sound of Metal, there is no true antagonist. Everybody's being themselves, everybody's doing the right thing, honestly. The real antagonist of this movie is noise. That is the real antagonist. And that's very apparent in the final scene, which I think is very beautiful and a very conclusive ending to the movie. And yeah, memorable experience indeed. I'm saying Sound of Metal is a movie worth watching, and I'm giving it a decent 8 out of 10. So, have you watched Sound of Metal? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching! Now, hear me out. List week is going to start on December 22nd, which means I will review Wolf Walker's Mank in another round sometime soon. I'm not going to review all 3 of them tomorrow because I haven't seen any of these movies, but I will watch one of them tonight, and there's also one more album review that I'm going to do, and then that's it for 2020. And then from December 22nd on, it's going to be list week, so have that to look forward to. Thanks for watching. Yay.